Today we're going to talk about parental relational cords. These are the beautiful ties of energy and light through your chakras that connect you with your parents. Good morning, it's Shelley Harrison of Shelley Harrison Healing. I'm an energy healer with a specialization in trauma healing, both personal trauma and generational trauma, the kinds of energy blocks that we inherit or that come through our family system to us. So it is Thursday, it is daily practice day, and on Thursdays, I like to take you in to the fourth level of your aura. So first of all, let's say it's a good hair day. My hair is done at 8 a.m. It's because I went to the hairdresser yesterday and had it cut. And check this out too. We got rainbows on the wall this morning. I love it. So fourth level of your aura, an emotional level, beautiful colored bioplasma moving around in your energy field through your body. In other words, the emotions on this level will also affect your physical body. This level holds your emotions, your emotional exchanges in your relationships. This is a fascinating level because this is the level where our energy and our aura begins to be able to extend out and connect with and exchange with other people's energy fields. The three levels below are personal: etheric body, personal sensations, pain, pleasure; emotional body, feelings about yourself; mental body, personal thoughts. And now we're moving into relationship exchanges. And there are three different ways that we, all of us, exchange energy on this level according to what Barbara Brennan learned. And I am a graduate of the Barbara Brennan School of Healing. You can read more about what Barbara discovered about our human energy consciousness system, our aura. Really good chapters about this level and the three ways we exchange energy on this level in her book, Light Emerging. In fact, I give people a copy of the book, Light Emerging, when I work with you in a 3 or 6 month one-on-one healing journey. I give you a copy of that book because as we work through many different things that you're holding within that you have not been able to shift or move, just by doing talk therapy, we dive deeper into connecting with what's really being held there as blocks. I give you homework to read out of Light Emerging because I want you to understand, as we touch into different things, I want you to understand more about how your own energy works. So, and of course, if you ever join me for my course, the Aura Healing Journey, where I take you on a deeper dive journey into these 7 different layers of your aura, of what is unfolding and playing out for you in your health, in your life experiences. You also need a copy of Light Emerging to do the Aura Healing Journey because you're going to read and practice and apply and experience. So, what are the 3 ways that we exchange energy on this level? One, Barbara called harmonic induction. It's basically vibes, to make it really simplified, right? It basically means that you vibrate and hum on this level at a certain frequency or certain frequency bandwidths or frequencies, and other people hum and vibe in their kind of frequencies on this level. And when the two of you come together, you either hum together or you don't hum together so good. Right? So sometimes when we meet someone and we like their vibes or we have a good feeling, it means, oh, that harmonic induction where we're sort of harmonizing, or there's a way that our fields can kind of communicate this way. One of the things that happens is if, say, for example, you run at really high frequencies and this other person runs at lower frequencies, lower, not always, we don't want to judge that as worse, it could be more grounded, right? You may meet this person and it feels like, oh gosh, they just calm me down. Their vibes really help me feel calmer and more grounded. That's an effect of harmonic induction. Or maybe they meet you and they're like, oh, this person kind of makes me feel more uplifted. Their vibes kind of give me some new ideas about how to be. That's also positive interaction with harmonic induction. Say, for example, you get someone who's like really running just these sort of more dense, grounded vibes, and you're like, way up here, you're like super high vibe, but maybe you've been doing a lot of spiritual work. And then you meet, and sometimes it's like, oh, I can't relate to that person. It's like it's too big a gap. It's like this person they don't get you, and you don't get them. It's just like you bounce off of each other. That's also harmonic induction. Some people's fields get together and it's like, it's instant dislike, instant hate. It's almost like your vibes are just kind of screeching against one another. It's just like a total incompatibility vibrationally, and that could be a jarring experience, a very noticeable experience, right? Okay, so that's harmonic induction. The other way that we communicate through our fourth level is what Barbara called bioplasmic streamers. This means that energy will follow our eyes, follow our consciousness, follow our intention. And as we kind of intend to relate, either covertly or overtly, with someone over there, energy kind of peels off our field and reaches over to touch their field on this level. So it's like we're reach out and touch someone, basically, right? The example that we healers always tend to use about how you tend to sense this is, for example, if you're sitting on a bus and you just have this feeling like someone's eyes are boring into your back, or you're not looking at them, but you just feel like there's a kind of energy coming into you. It could be because someone's looking at you or interested in you or curious about you, and their bioplasmic streamers start to kind of extend out following their eyes, and they're sort of checking you out. Maybe they're interested in you in a good way. Maybe it's a way that feels unpleasant, but we can feel and sense that. Bioplasmic streamers. So, and of course, we do it too, right? We're also, when we have an intention to connect with someone, or we reach for someone, or we're sending some energy out to connect, we also send out bioplasmic streamers. Third way, more direct way that we connect on this level, are the relational cords. So we have chakras, these beautiful energy centers that spin, that pull energy in from the universal energy field into our system. But we also have cords of light and energy called relational cords that connect from our chakras to the same chakra of other people we're in relationship with. And there's 5 different kinds of these cords: soul cords, parental cords, genetic cords, past life cords, and everybody else cords. Let's talk about the parental relational cords today. So, your parents, right? How are you with your parents? Do you have many wonderful interactions with your parents that feel nourishing, right? When we have positive and healthy interactions on the 4th level of our aura, the astral body, we're exchanging love, and it feels good and it's nourishing for us, right? Healthy relationships are part of our health care, part of our needs as human beings. We need to have many wonderful, uplifting, loving exchanges on this level of our field. And I hope that is how it is with your parents. I see there's 2 of you here watching. Please drop a comment in the comment box to say hello. So, of course, many of us have struggles with our parents, right? And whether our exchanges with our parents are easy and wonderful and nourishing, or difficult and challenged, that will show in the relational cords, right? That will show up in the cords. And I work with those. I'm trained to work with those. And I was going to say, you can see that. You don't have to be able to see these energies to sense what's happening, right? You're feeling it in the relationship. For example, when you're relating to one of your parents and it feels like you get this sensation in your gut, like there's a tug on it, that's maybe because there's a relational cord tugging on you. Or maybe you're doing it to them. Maybe you're tugging and trying to get them to be the way you want them to be. Why don't they just go? Why do they always do that? Why can't I control them? Why can't I get them to be the parent I want them to be? So we can get into all kinds of dynamics in these relational cords. And I recommend you go through Barbara Brennan's book, Light Emerging. There's a whole chapter where she talks about the different kinds of relational cords, because there's different energy interactions through the 7 different chakras, through the 7 different kinds of cords. I'll do some videos later where I'll go through the chakras one at a time and talk about cord exchanges through each of the chakras, slightly different dynamics in each chakra that corresponds with what that chakra is about. So, daily practice to work with parental relational cords. I do hands-on work with relational cords where I'll lie you on the table and we'll reach into the field and we'll actually see what's happening in these connections and do some cleanup work, some reconnection, some work between you and your parent, whether they're alive or deceased. That's a very interesting thing about relational cords. They do not disappear after you die or they die. When we die, the first 3 levels of our field that have to do with our personal existence, those dissolve and break up, but actually our spirit still exists on levels 4 and up. So if you still feel like you're connected to your parent after they die, you are. The relational cords will go through a huge transformation and transition through that death process. Often a lot of pain and trauma at the time of their death, right? Because there's a disruption in your cord connection with them. And it can feel like, especially if it's a sudden death that you didn't have time to prepare for, it can feel like having those cords like ripped out of you. You can feel literally torn apart, torn open through many or all of your cord connections with your parents. That's why grief and loss really needs a lot of time and care. We need our time to grieve because of the pain of losing someone, right? If you've had more time before losing a parent to kind of prepare and go through your process with them, maybe it was a longer illness, you're already doing some of that work of the letting go, the acceptance, the letting them transition to the other side. And so sometimes when they pass, it might not be quite so jarring in the chakras. It depends. It depends on your emotions, right? This is your emotions, your feelings on your relational level. The other big thing that happens when someone dies, and we're talking about parents today, is relational cords with people who are alive still are in the front of our chakras. We're connecting through the front chakras and relating to that person, right? When a relationship moves into the past and it's behind us, so not necessarily because the person's died, but let's use the example of a parent who is dying or died. There's a transition process of you have chakras out the back of your body. Most people don't know that. And the relational cords will transition to the back body so that now the relationship is behind you. They are an ancestor. They're still connected to, you're still receiving from them, but it's a different relationship. And that can also be part of the grieving process, is transitioning these cords from front to back. I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of people on this, whether their parent is in the process of dying. I'm thinking of a particular client whose parent has Parkinson's. It's been a very, very long illness, long expectation of him crossing over and him not crossing yet. Very difficult to bear. So I've worked with clients who are in the process of letting go of their parents, who have just lost their parents, or even many years after they've lost their parents. And working with the relational cords will help you move through the grieving process a little more easily and a little more quickly with greater sense of resolution, completion, and peace, right? Because I'll work directly with the relational cords to help any damage or strife or emotional pain to sort of help it move into love and acceptance more easily. What often happens in these sessions too is your parent shows up and we have a little discussion with them. So yes, I do talk to dead people. Yeah, it's just the relational cords are connected, right? So the spirit of your parent will often come into the healing. As I work with the cords, I'm working with both ends, them and you. And often they'll have messages for you. And I may facilitate some communication with you to their spirit, which can also bring a great deal of relief and resolution. And just validation, because I know a lot of you 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 may have dreams about your parent after they've died, or you may still be in communication with them some way or getting messages, and you may feel confident about that. You may feel the sense of, yeah, I know that's true, I know that's happening. Sometimes you can feel like, okay, am I making this up? And it's just nice in the healing when we connect with the spirit of your parent to know, yeah, you're not crazy, you're not making it up. It's a real phenomenon. It's a real phenomenon that you're still connected through these parental relational cords to your parent. And it's a different kind of communication now because it's in spirit, not in person. And it can be new, and it can be a way of adjusting to having your parent as an ancestor rather than a living presence in your life. One small side note about that too, though, is there can be this temptation to move very kind of bypass the grieving process and go right into, oh, well, my parents, they're in spirit now, we're all good, I'm talking to them, it's cool. Be careful about this, is what we call spiritual bypass, right? Is immediately moving into, oh, well, it's all good, they're in the spirit world and they're with me now, and not going through the necessary grieving process. And that's something that also kind of help bring people back down to earth through your energy field, through grounding you in your body, and through helping you to attend to the grief, helping you to have a safe space to be held where you can touch into the grief that may have been too overwhelming to feel. Let those emotions move so that they move and clear and shift out of this level of your field. Fourth level, feelings in relationship, right? All those feelings need to move and clear and transition. So then gradually you move into the transition of your parent being in the physical to in the spirit. Other way, biggest way, besides doing hands-on work that I help people with their parental relational cords is through family constellations work. This is beautiful work brought forth by Bert Hellinger and everyone he worked with over the many, many years, 50 years of him doing the work. This is stepping into your family energy field and feeling these cord connections you have through your family system and looking at generational trauma that may have been passed down from you, from your parents, from their parents, through these relational cords. And so when we step into the constellation field, the energy field of your family system, although I'm not doing hands-on work with the relational cords, massive shifts and changes happen in these parental cord connections as you learn to do the work of healing your mother wound and healing your father wound. There's 2 pages on my website under Work With Me, Healing with Our Ancestors. There's specific classes that I teach on healing the mother wound and healing the father wound. I just do them once a year, but know that if you step into one-to-one healing work with me, or any of the monthly classes that I offer online with the family constellations work, or if you have the opportunity to see me for an in-person group, which I'm traveling more with now, and you're very welcome to invite me to come to your area to bring family constellations work for a group of people that may want to experience this work. We will always be working with your parental relational cords because you only connect with your family system through your parents, right? So even though we may be looking at other dynamics in the system, we're always going to bring your parents into the field, into the constellation. So this is parental relational cords. Let's do just a tiny short practice, which I often do with people when I work with you in in-person workshops or online classes with the family constellations work, of a way of just sensing what's happening with your parental relational cords. Okay, so we're going to take a minute to rest into your body, because how are you going to feel the energy shifts? How are you going to sense what's happening and what's changing through sensations in your body? Somatic practice, somatic experiencing your felt sense. I am also a trained somatic experiencing practitioner. This is the personal trauma healing work. So let's dive into your soma. Just take a moment to come into your body. I feel tension around my mouth from talking so much. So if you have tension in your jaw, see if you can relax it, soften through your throat. Feel what your hands are doing. Are they clasped? Are they sitting in your lap? Are they hanging off the edges of your chair? We're going to go in and feel into our parental relational cords here on the fourth level of your aura. If you're joining us late, pop in later. The whole recording will be up on YouTube, my YouTube channel. Can you sink into your seat a little more? Feel your lower back. Is it being supported by your chair, or are you supporting it in space? How does your heart space and chest feel right now? Tight, open, relaxed, congested? Okay, so once you have a sense of just how your body is doing right now, what your body sensations are feeling like, just taking the lay of the land here, feeling a little tension in my jaw there. Okay, so with your eyes closed, here's what I want you to imagine. I'm going to start with mom. I want you to imagine that your mom walks into the room. And if your mom was present with you here, even if she's deceased, just imagine her soul is walking into the room. Where would you have her stand in the room? What's your sense, your gut sense, your impulse of, would you place her behind you? Would you have her in front of you? Is she on the right or the left? And how close or far away from you would you have your mom stand? This is setting up a constellation with just your mom. If you are two stars in the sky, where are you in relationship to one another? So take a moment to just feel into where your mom would be standing. And if it's harder for you to do this in your mind's eye, we sometimes call as facilitators a mind's eye constellation. You can take an object in your room and use it to represent your mom, your mother, and place it where you feel or sense she would be standing. Sometimes that's a little more concrete for you, and you can do it that way. So you can place an object to do what we call represent your mom. When we work in groups, online or in person, I ask another person in the group to step in and represent your mom, kind of like an energy placeholder where the soul energy of your mom would kind of start to arrive through that person so you can sense it and feel it better. It's the beautiful thing about working in groups. So what do you feel in your body? How is this for you to have your mom standing where you've placed her? Is there a response in your body, your emotions, the emotions on the fourth level of your field in your astral body? Just take note. Okay, now imagine your mom where you move a little further away from her. Just put a little more space between you and mom. And just see if that changes anything in your sensations. Is that easier? Is it harder? Is it better or worse when there's a little more space between you and your mother? If you're getting sensation changes in your body, this reflects shifts in the parental relational cords. And your general emotional response on the fourth level of your aura to your mother's presence. What's your emotional response to that? How does it translate down into your physical response, right? Because remember, these levels of your aura penetrate all the way down into level 3, level 2, level 1 physical body. So we immediately feel energy shifts in our aura through physical sensation. Okay, now imagine mom steps in a little closer than where she started. If she's a little closer to you, I'm melting and softening. My mom's deceased, by the way. She's been gone for 28, 30 years, so I've had lots of time to process my relationship with her. And in fact, I had the opportunity to have my own family constellation process with one of my mentors just a couple weeks ago, actually. And of course, we worked with my mom and my dad and all kinds of different things, my inner child. But it was so interesting when my mom stepped into the constellation through a representative. Even my facilitator, my mentor said, oh, it feels like your mom is just kind of present in spirit everywhere around you. And that was very validating. It does kind of feel like how my mom's soul is present with me right now. So, but what happens for you when mom steps closer? Easier, harder, better, worse? How does your body react when your mom comes closer? How do you react in real life when your mom comes closer into your space? Can you soften into her? Do you brace against her? Do you recoil? Do different particular emotions come up? Guilt, anger, love, joy, warmth, empathy, avoidance. Okay. You can do the same thing with your dad. We'll go through that today, but you can now, release your mom from the field and do the same thing using either an object or your mind's eye with your dad. Imagine he steps in. Where does he stand? Feel into that. What do you feel? How does your body respond? You might even jot notes down. Have him step a little further away. Does anything change? Have him step a little closer. Does anything change? And this gives you a lot of information about how you hold your parents inside of yourself, how you hold them in your astral body, this emotional level of the fourth level, and what your relational cord connections with them are like right now. And if that's still difficult or strained, know it's very important to work on that, because your parents are the source of your life. You're half your mom and half your dad, and you carry them within you. So if you're in rejection with them or avoidance, or there's still difficulty there, it's going to upset your wellness. It's going to upset your inner peace. And you can spend many, many sessions and years in therapy blaming your parents, talking about what they didn't give you, wishing they would give you something different than what they're able to give you, wanting to change your parents. Guess how well that works? It doesn't. Most parents are not interested in going to therapy, and it's us. We have to change how we hold them, how we view them, how we receive them. When you can start to do the change within, going deeper with family constellations work, with parental relational cord work, you can stop spending years in therapy bitching about your parents and what they didn't give you, and actually find ways to receive the life force and the love you've received them, receive the blessings from your ancestors, and release any of the trauma patterns from your family system or even your parents that you're carrying, so you can finally come to peace. So if that's work you're ready to do, if you're ready to move to this deeper level of encountering the energies directly and working with them on this level, please join me monthly in my family constellation classes, different themes every month. You can see that on my webpage, Work With Me, Healing with Our Ancestors. Or let's do this work one-to-one, where you can have personal attention and focus, where we can work through any of the layers of unhealed childhood trauma that are still sitting in your energy field, sitting in your relational cords, and bring those to peace, and go deeper into your family system to clear the generational trauma blocks that you may have unconsciously, out of love, offered to carry for your parents or others in the system who've been excluded. And go to my website, Work With Me and One-to-One Healing, and take a look. And if it calls to you, if you're ready to do that work and you want to see if we're a fit to work together, you want to see if it feels right, go ahead and book a free 30-minute consultation, and we can talk and connect and feel into whether this is the right time and the right work for you to go deeper than talking, to really go directly into what is playing out in your energy field. And with my help, because I can perceive it, I'm going to work directly with that.